Today we are going to discuss about logics. So before going to it, as before we have already discussed what is knowledge representation and what is facts, belief, mapping between facts and representation. As a human, we have some inbuilt knowledge, and using artificial intelligence or AI, we have to make some system which can sense the environment, and using some knowledge it should be able to make some decisions, and according to the decision it should be able to make some actions. So there should be some way to represent this knowledge so that it can use the knowledge to make some decision, and after making decision we should be able to do some actions. So knowledge should be such that it can be understood by the system, or it can be further analyzed or can be changed. So we must have a language to represent knowledge. This knowledge should be used. To use this, there must be a method. So we must have a machine or mechanism that can understand the language and act accordingly. There is a various knowledge representation scheme. One of it is using logic. What is logic? Logic, as we have already discussed in yesterday's class, logic is a formal method of reasoning. Logic makes sentences which are true or false. So in logic, their sentence should be either true or it should either give a false value. There is imperative sentences are not allowed in logic. And reasoning is a way or process to manipulate the knowledge to infer from it, or to have a meaningful thing from the knowledge. So knowledge representation scheme includes representing knowledge and the inference mechanism that can use this knowledge. Knowledge is a formal language used to represent knowledge and facts. The two types of logics are used. First is propositional logic, and second is the first order logic or first order predicate calculus. So logic is defined by syntax and semantics. As you know, syntax is a grammar of any language and semantics is a meaning of any language. So syntax can be it is not necessary. If there is a sentence whose syntax is correct, that sentence will be meaningful. So the sentence should be both syntactic and semantic, so that a meaningful sentence can be formed. So machine should be able to understand language, and language should have syntax and semantics. And we have already discussed logic sentences should have true or false value, and sentence should not be imperative. So now moving to propositional logic. For example, we are having a Ramesh is honest. This can have either true or a false value, and this small sentences is considered as one unit, and for example, and can be represented as P. And for example, we have another sentence as Ramesh is poor, so it can be true or false. And there is we are having a compound proposition, which is a combination of propositions. For example, if Ramesh is honest, Ramesh is poor. And we can form propositions using and or operations. And combining this using and or give a new proposition. That propositions are called compound proposition. So vocabulary for proposition logic. If we have set of symbols P, Q, etc., this can be true or false. Next, we can have some logical operators and or not, and we can have some symbols true and false. And how to form propositional sentences? We can have P and Q. If both P and Q are true, that is 1 1, then only we will be having output as 1. So symbols like PQ are sentences, and some parentheses or P and Q, P or Q, not P, P implies Q. These are the sentences, and these are valid prepositional sentences, and these are also known as well formed formula. So these sentences are also known as WFF or well formed formula. So we will be discussing propositional logic in detail in next class. Thank you.